Take fucking two.
Hey, everybody.
Hey.
We, tried to do this episode a few minutes ago,
We had basically the whole thing done.
and, then we found out my mic wasn't recording at all, and I was not speaking loudly enough that it would have picked up on V's mic, so... yeah, we just decided to start over.
I mean, we had to. It wasn't even a decision. There was literally, I wasn't speaking for most of that episode, so...
Yeah.
It would have been silence for like 8 minutes.
Yeah.
Anyway, you had some thoughts you needed to get off your chest, so you go for it.
Yeah, work really fucked me up today because I felt hurt by something someone did, and granted, they had good intentions with what they were doing. But I went to them today and asked for an apology and got basically a fuck you in exchange. And it was hard for me to even, like, consider going and being like, hey, I feel like I'm owed an apology. Like, that's so, like, not something that I usually do, but I'm trying to make a habit of, like, actually standing up for myself, because turns out I actually have, like, inherent worth as a human being. What a fucking concept. But I'm hoping that what I take away from this is that even if you don't get the apology you asked for, it doesn't mean you shouldn't have asked. There's worth in the asking. And I'm disappointed in the person, because even if they didn't think that it was reasonable to apologize for the thing that I was specifically bringing up, I feel like something else could have been found to apologize for. And the more I'm thinking about it, the more I'm like, oh, you could have actually apologized for this, or this. But, you know, it's telling when someone chooses their ego over the relationship.
Also, I'm just going to say this, and something I don't think he'd brought up about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's also telling that their response was, I'm not going to apologize for doing my job, which implies that their job is to stress and belittle you. Just throwing that out there, too.
Yeah, I didn't consider that. Specifically, I said to them, it's frustrating when this happens. Their response was, well, things like that happen all the time. Or, things...
You can just say it.
Yeah.
Like...
So, I was pissed off because, I was stressing out getting the department ready for a, basically, like, health, food safety inspection. And the last time I was there to prepare the department, we had no violations. We were all clear, and I was very proud of that fact, because my department has a history of violations. And I busted my ass last time and got the department into fucking shape. And I was really goddamn proud of myself. And as I was in the process of doing this same thing and preparing again, someone in management came into my department and started telling me policy changes. Like, we can't do this, we can't do this, we can't have this here, we can't use this, this needs to be gone. And this was all news to me, and some of it in direct contradiction to stuff that I had been trained on. I listened, I was patient, and I acknowledged everything that this person was saying as they were saying it. And I implemented it as best I could in the moment. It was extremely stressful. But I went home that night and didn't think any more of it because I just tried to put it out of my mind. That day I went home with a stress migraine. I'm assuming it was a stress migraine, because it was a migraine that happened less than 2 hours into my shift, and shortly after this occurrence. Anyway, my department did great. There were no violations. And today when I came into work, I was told by one of my direct managers that, hey, the stuff this person told you the last time you were here, that's not accurate. This is actually what we're doing. And a lot of it was, again, what I had been trained on and what I had been doing up to that point. And my direct supervisor told me, hey, this person should not have come through and made all of these changes and demanded all of these changes. She took it upon herself to do that. And so I felt comfortable going to this person and saying, hey, this frustrated me, and I feel like you owe me an apology. And I was met with, I will not apologize for doing my job. I was doing what the person directly above me told me to do. And I won't apologize for doing my job. And I'm like, I'm not asking you to apologize for doing your job. And I was just so stunned that I walked away without saying anything more. This person has told me on multiple occasions that I could come to them with any concern, professional or otherwise, and that's a direct quote. Technically, it was their day off, and I didn't realize that, so I apologized to them. I was like, I didn't realize it was your day off. Sorry, because the first thing they said was, first of all, it's inappropriate that you would come to me with this on my day off. And I'm like, okay, why are you in the store on your day off and also spending multiple hours here and
making more work for you and the other people
making
there.
more work for me and the people around me, but also expecting people not to talk to her about work? But when other people came up and talked about work, she didn't turn them away.
Well, it's because you were actually...
It's because I had a concern about her behavior, and she didn't like that.
Yeah.
I immediately talked about this experience with others because I felt awful and tiny and just terrible. And one of the people I talked to about it said, as a child of someone who did a lot of gaslighting, validation is really important. And I didn't realize that that was how I was feeling, was the same way that, like, I got treated by my parents when I was, like, bringing something up that had hurt me and, like, getting either shouted down or, like, being forced to apologize to them for upsetting them for bringing up something that they didn't like. Which is also a pattern that continued with past significant others, but that's a whole nother jar of worms. So yeah, it was a bad experience all the fuck around. And, like, if I had thought for a moment that this person was only doing what they did because they were told to, I wouldn't have had a goddamn problem with it. It's the fact that I was told that they took it into their own hands. I'm really tired. Y'all, I just want to do my job. I just want to do my fucking job, and I want to know the rules so that I can follow them properly. Like, yes, I understand that I work in a very changeable industry, but health and safety regulations shouldn't be changing day to day.
Yeah.
That's genuinely, like, not how that works. Like,
No.
health and safety regulations should be a standard. And then I found out, like,
Well, they are.
people were talking to the health and safety inspector and, like, compromising with him, trying to get him to let us do certain things. And the fact that they had to do that, and the fact that that happens at all, boggles my fucking mind.
I mean, just because they were trying to compromise.
No, they did.
With
They made
did.
compromises that he agreed to. Which, the compromises were just, hey, let us keep doing these couple of things the way we've been doing them because it's practical and helpful for the people that are working here.
That I have... Okay. You have to understand something. I have worked since before I was an adult. I had almost all service industry jobs of some kind and almost every single one doing with food. That dude needs to be fired, investigated, fined, and possibly jailed. That shit does not fly. I have worked in so many jobs that have dealt with that kind of shit, and never once has it been more than dude walks through, makes some check marks, comments on a couple things, and is out. I have managed places when that has happened. That's not normal.
Yeah. It doesn't help that at least one of the things that had to be, quote, compromised on was something that I had been trained on by another company at another location that was that, hey, this is an okay and sanitary thing to do. And they had to, like, plead their case to this guy, my managers did.
Wait, was this at that one thing you went to? Really?
Yes. Something I was trained to do at an outside location while learning to make coffee was...
What the fuck?
Yeah, supposedly a health and safety issue according to this particular guy, even though it hadn't been a health and safety issue before for some reason.
Or it was...
and he didn't do anything, or, like, maybe best practices do vary by, like, where you're at and what kind of business you're running, but I'm so goddamn stressed.
I mean, yeah, they do. Oh, trust me, I know. Anyway, yeah, service workers need to unionize and be paid a fuck ton more. Please be kind to service workers. Have a nice night, everybody.
Sleep tight.